The fact that the bank wants us to be bankers, but in the community and helping the community at that point in time is a great aspect, and that's why I see that Guaranty is a great place to work, and it could be above other places out there.
Welcome to Why Guaranty. I'm Chelsea Reber. Thank you so much for listening. Please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting on today's episode. Today, I am joined by Garrett Glass. Garrett, thank you for being with me today.
Thank you for having me today.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. What is your role with Guaranty and where are you located?
I am in Sulphur Springs. I've actually been with the bank since 2008, so I've been here a little bit. I am a senior vice president and a commercial lender with the bank. So when we say commercial lenders here, we do everything from car loans all the way up to real estate properties and everything.
So you are not originally from Texas. Tell me a little bit about how you got to the great state.
So no, I am not. I am originally from California. We came from a small kind of farming rural community out there. But we moved here in '97. So I was 11 at the time. So I've done most of my growing up and living in Texas.
Okay. And how did you arrive at Guaranty Bank?
So I arrived in Guaranty. So when we came to Texas, we moved to Gunter, Texas, or as a Texan would say, Gunter, Texas. So it's a silent T in there. Graduated from there and then went to A&M Commerce. And so it was about 60 miles from where we were, still home, but not home then at that point. And I met my wife there in college. She was in business or in economics, and I was in business finance. So we just kind of have a crossing paths then at that point. And she was from Hopkins County. And as we were kind of just talking about, bantering about it a little bit earlier, she's one of those girls that you stay around for then at that point in time. So she was from Hopkins County. She had found a job after we graduated in 2007 with another community bank in Sulphur Springs. And so then that's what kind of started my path, I guess, finding jobs around the Sulphur Springs area.
What was noteworthy about the interview process with Guaranty?
As I said, I was kind of just finding jobs around in the business field. I actually had interviewed twice with Guaranty. So first time it was right after I graduated college, but it was with the Guaranty Bank and Trust in Commerce. Since that's where we were going to school, that's actually where I was living at the time. In college, I had a little bit longer hair, and I might have still had that hair when I went into my interview. Then
you
at
can
that
take
point
the guy
in time,
out of California,
yeah.
but maybe not California out of the guy.
So it might have been down to shoulder length at that
Okay.
time, and then that's when I went to Sulphur Springs and started interviewing or trying to find. So I walked into Guaranty, and Craig Roberts, which we all know Craig. I mean, he's still with the bank today, and he was with the bank. Was filled out an application, and probably within a block or two, Craig had called me back and said, "Hey, are you ready for an interview right now?" Absolutely. And so that was in, I believe, probably April and May, and then by June of that year, I was already hired with the bank, ready to go.
So tell me a little bit more about Guaranty's commercial loan process.
So our commercial loan process, we're very... that's a hard question to answer.
I guess it is kind of vague or a large question.
It is a large question. We're a very hands-on approach to our loans that we do. With our commercial loans that we do in Sulphur Springs, we take them from the get-go, from the interview process with the customer, all the way to the end. So therefore, we're getting in the depths and the weeds of knowing what our customers do and how they plan to buy the property or whatever they're doing, or the business. So therefore, we know it inside and out. Therefore, we can walk through, because at the end of the day, in Sulphur Springs, we are a community. It's a bigger town. We have 35,000 in the county, but most of these customers that we're dealing with are our neighbors then at that point in time. So when we're walking from our house to the square, I pass probably half a dozen customers in that same walk. So when I walk down there, I want to know what they're doing, what they're into, what their kids' names are, and all that stuff, because it's not just the loan process at the end of the day. We are wanting to know our customers, because our customers are our neighbors.
Banking is it can be such a personal topic. And so I'm sure to be able to put a face to the name, and not just a face to the name, but know who their kids are, know what their interests are, that has to be important to you, especially in your line of business.
Yeah, I do. It is a personal relationship because, I
Hmm.
mean, you are getting into the weeds and the finances of
Hmm.
a person, which that is very personal on a lot of levels then. But at the same time, I mean, when we talk stuff as a bank, all the bank talk, all the financial stuff is within the walls. But when we go by and we see our friends out in the street, hey, how are you? I mean, so when we ask about the kids then, so it's not, they know that we are doing business on that level, but at the same time, it's not spoken about outside.
And I think because of that, your job can kind of seep into your personal life as well, and a little bit back and forth. Speaking of personal interests, I understand that you're into cooking competitions. Tell me a little bit more about that side of you.
So that's a very interesting side. I enjoy cooking, and I've enjoyed cooking since a very early age. As you said, I'm from California originally, and was in the 4-H and FFA out there, and actually joined the cooking club, I guess what they are.
Okay.
My mom was the cooking instructor, and it was kind of one of those things. No, you don't want to be in it. But now I had to basically fight and beg to be in it. Then at that point, and I've always enjoyed cooking, and that was probably from, I guess, 8 or 9 years old then. So therefore, it's always kind of one of those things that I've enjoyed. A hobby maybe that I wouldn't really want to go into on a business level type deal, but it's one of those things that I enjoy cooking. So now, I mean, I cook a lot. Usually with my family, since my daughter's getting old enough. She's 12, 13, so we like to sit in the kitchen and cook. She likes to come up with crazy recipes, but at the same time, hey, it's fun because we're getting in there and hanging out together. But then there's also some cooking competitions that come along with it. Therefore, since we are a community and we're representing the bank and the community along with it, the bank has, or Sulphur Springs has, a stew competition that I enjoy cooking at every year. Which I've cooked at 15 years and have 11 trophies. So I mean, I do pretty decent
Okay.
on the cooking
Yeah.
side. But then also, I mean, we have state competitions with another colleague, Brandon Williams. I mean, he does a lot in the state competition, or SCA, so state competition arena,
Okay.
whatever it is. But I mean, he's done very well on that. So it's just one of those things. It's a hobby that enjoys it. So it kind of gets us outside of that banking atmosphere. Therefore, we kind of get in that creative, have fun along with it.
It has to be important, though, that your job supports some of those interests outside of work as well.
It is, man. I think that's where we talk about this, the community side of it. Because if it wasn't, if we were just an 8 to 5 and that's all it was, and we left every day, I mean, then we wouldn't get a lot of that. But I mean, Sulphur Springs, they call it Celebration City. We have a beautiful downtown, which a lot of the stuff happens at. So they want to bring people in, but therefore, I mean, when we step outside of with the guarantee, with the G on, or with just a G T-shirt, we're representing the bank, even though we aren't at the bank. Then at that point in time, we're at the bank, I guess 24/7 nowadays.
You've been doing this for a while. I'm sure you found a lot of strengths that you have. What are some challenges that you come across, maybe personal or even when it comes to the actual business aspect of things?
Oh, one of my biggest, I guess, weaknesses is that I don't like asking questions at the end of the day. I rather read something and learn it for myself than at that point in time. But if I do ask questions, it's more of a kind of point me in the general direction of where I need to go, and therefore I can go kind of learn it and learn it from the inside out. Just because, I mean, in everything that we do, and I'm sure it's the same with your job, if somebody just tells you, hey, 2 + 2 is 4, okay, whatever.
Right.
I know what that is, but you're not going to know exactly what it is then.
Hmm.
Therefore, actually reading it, you actually retain it a little bit better, and therefore reading it over and over. Therefore, if we have the same question over and over and over, we will start learning it, and therefore it just becomes second nature then. Therefore, if we do ask that question, 2 + 2, hey, we know exactly what it is, and there's no kind of pause along with it. Therefore, we can guide our customers to a better question or a better answer, and quicker and faster with more confidence as well.
We talk a lot about community when we talk about Guaranty Bank, but I also think that family seems like a pretty big topic when it comes to this company and what their core values are? You mentioned your daughter earlier. What are some things that maybe kind of cross over between, like you just said, learning from the inside out, and then also being a dad and how you mentor your kids?
Oh, I mean, I guess I treat my kids the same way. I mean, I have three. I have a
Okay.
daughter that's 12, a son that just turned 11, and then another son that will be 6 this month. So it's kind of the same way that I treat them. I'm not going to just give them the answer when it comes to it. But kids learning nowadays, it's a little bit interesting just because they don't really have homework like we did when we were growing up, where, hey, here's your math and you do problems 1 through 10. They don't seem like they get that type of stuff anymore. So helping them sometimes along the way, it's kind of more you have to draw that question out of them. So what are you doing? What is this? And therefore, you're actually trying to pull that question out. So it's kind of the same way. So therefore, they're asking the question. You're kind of guiding, hey, this is kind of the way that you should look at it then. So, I mean, doing it that way, I mean, it's interesting on raising kids. But the community side of it as well, I mean, we're the other two guys that I work with, Brad Thomas and Brandon Williams, I mean, we know their kids. I mean, Brandon, I mean, his daughter was big into soccer. So my family, we would go watch his kids at soccer. So, and therefore, I mean, we're not just in the bank, as we talked about at 8 to 5. We're doing all the other stuff in the community to go support everybody else. That's even at the bank. And then we're supporting our customers too, along with it. Where tomorrow will be a home football game, and so we'll be there. We know we'll be there to support and cheer on the Wildcats. But at the same time, everybody that we see, we say hi to. I mean, because then we're representing the bank then too.
I don't know if you're a goals guy, but I'd love to talk to you about some of your short-term goals, maybe just a couple years out, and then even long-term goals for you and your career.
That's probably an interesting one too. Goals are probably, I don't know. I don't really plan too terribly much of the goals. I think sometimes, I mean, you could get too caught up in these goals that come along with it as well. Where if you say, hey, I want to do, say, $5 million of lending this year, and are you going to make bad loans to get to 5 million then at that point in time because you're trying to push it through? Now, not to say that you are going to, because there are different eyes and different approval processes on it, but do you try to force something that shouldn't be then at that point in time? And so therefore, I mean, I'd rather develop those good relationships. Therefore, I mean, the relationships may not pay off this year, but they will pay off in the years to come along with it. So that's where, I mean, goals to me are probably an interesting point along with it.
As a community banker, someone who is potentially granting a loan for someone, how involved do you get on a personal level with your clients and maybe even advising them whether this is or isn't a good idea?
More on a consumer type basis, not too much on that one, but on some of the commercial deals, yeah, we definitely get into the weeds on it because, I mean, we're asking questions that if it's a startup business, are these goals actually feasible? Are these numbers feasible? Just because, I mean, a lot of the times we can put numbers to anything to make the equation equal out or make it look good, but is that equation truly good at the end of the day? And I don't think a lot of people, and not to say that they're good at what they do, but sometimes they need the business side of it as well. So I mean, we do sometimes, I believe, get into more of a financial planner or financial analysis and kind of being that backing that they have. Therefore, it's just that question that they have: is this good? Is this feasible? Will this actually be viable at the end of it? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't help anybody involved, the bank or the customer, if we make that loan to a customer to say, hey, yeah, here's, I mean, say $500,000 for a startup, and it fails because that hurts them. And it's not just hurting them, it's hurting their family, all the people that were involved and working at that. So there's a lot of trickle down effect that can affect that decision then at that point in time. And like I said, there's no good outcome at the end of it.
Garrett, why do you love working for Guaranty Bank and Trust, and what makes this community bank so special?
What I think the best thing about the bank is, well, as we talked about already, is the community aspect of it, where, I mean, they do help out, but to kind of go into a personal story, the bank has, as we've talked about, the cooking competitions as well, which I enjoy those, getting out. But another one is more of the civic organizations that they want you to be a part of as well. But I mean, when we say that, I mean, I chose one that was probably more special to me is the Lions Club, which the other two guys I work with, they're in the Rotary, so kind of that friendly
rivalry,
rivalry to go along with it. But I chose the Lions Club, and the bank helps out with the dues and the subscriptions of it, just because the Lions Club is big on glasses and eyes and kids seeing. So that was my big thing. Is when I was in college, I didn't have glasses, and I was kind of one of those things. I saw the professor, kind of wipe the board off, and I was like, that's just a bunch of chalk dust on the board, and I couldn't tell what it was. But until I got glasses, and I was like, oh no, it was me. I was the problem with it. So being on that aspect of it, having the bank want you to be a part of a civic organization, but then a civic organization that's kind of personal as well, where helping kids see, because I guess I understood it then at that point in time, that my eyes were open, I guess pun intended along with that one, but that I can see, and therefore actually how it helped learn then at that point in time. So the fact that the bank wants us to be bankers, but in the community and helping the community at that point in time is a great aspect. And that's why, I see that Guaranty is a great place to work, and it could be above other places out there.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today on Why Guaranty.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
If you want to learn more about Guaranty Bank, visit them online at gnty.com. Link is in the description below.